lot going on in the world of sports. It's Tuesday night, 8:35. We're a little late tonight. That's because we got so much happening behind the scenes, guys. You better tune in next week because I hear there's going to be something similar that you've seen years ago. You may want to pay attention. Maybe. But anyway, let's forget about the future. Let's talk about the past. Let's go with the past.
Let's talk about the fact that JB, what happened this week? Would you like to tell them, or would you like me to tell?
So I think it's debatable if the Lions are still in the National Football League. I think that they've actually been traded to the CFL for a pick to be named later. They're not even a franchise anymore. I've disbanded them.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, I think you're saying this because if I recall, Week 2, 2021 NFL season, it'll go down to fantasy history that I came back and beat you. Okay. When I was down, I believe 20 points going into Monday Night Football.
Jake, you seem to be having some audio issues, Jake.
I seem to be having some JB issues, I think is what it is. If I recall, I was down 20. You had TJ Hawkinson, and I had Aaron Jones. And would you like to tell them what happened, or would you like me to tell them? I'm happy to repeat it.
Well, the Lions do all sorts of Lion things, and, the Lions are more like, I don't even know what they are. They're very toothless.
They lost,
Lions.
But they lost, and if I recall,
not only did they lose,
Aaron Jones had a nice 41-point game, which sealed the victory against you, and I won by 3, which is not a great margin of victory, I admit, but I was down going into Monday Night Football, and I beat you. So that makes me 1-0 this week. And then Mr. John Mysick over here. Would you like to talk about what happened to you, good sir? Because you felt the wrath this week as well, going into the late window, the 405, 425s. I was down significantly. Tyler Lockett, Tom Brady, 2 big weeks. Travis Kelce later that night on a Chiefs-Ravens game. Finished off that week. That put me 2-0 on the week. And last but not least, our third league that we have is our Friends League, as you will call it. That's that. I guess that's what you call that league. 3-0 because TJ Hawkinson and Aaron Jones were also on my team, and they scored enough points combined to win me the game. I went 3-0, gentlemen. How did you guys do this week? Because I don't think either of you went 3-0. I'm 6-0 on the season so far.
I came back and beat Team Stewart in our fan league.
All right, but how are you
with Aaron Jones 41 points? So
okay, but what was your overall record?
That's all I need is a nice comeback against Team Stewart.
Notice how he doesn't answer how his record was overall.
I have to make sure I beat the fans. That's most important above all else. We can't let the fans beat us. So I had to represent us well. That's what's important.
That's fine. But how did you fare the rest of the week? What was your overall record?
Not as important as beating our fans.
Were you 1-2? I believe you were.
Yeah, well,
Forget about John. We don't want to talk about John. We want to get back to me and you. So I'm counting that as a protested game until I get word from the commissioner, Roger Goodell, that the Lions are still part of this league.
JB, just so you know, you did have TJ Hawkinson on your team.
Yes, but you can't throw him the ball if you throw it to the Packers.
Hey.
Or if you're not holding on to it.
So this sounds more like a Jared Goff problem.
So the way I look at it is I've decided the Lions are not part of the National Football League anymore. Them and the Jets are going to the European League. And we're going to send the Jaguars with them, with Urban Meyer and his craziness. So we're going to send them over across the pond. We'll find a 14, maybe the Giants, because they don't win games anymore.
No.
We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes.
We'll talk about that.
But so we got a nice division to go to Europe, because those 4 teams nobody's watching anyway. So we send them over to Europe.
So you're just sending both New York teams to.
They're not even the New York teams. They're the New Jersey teams. Really. Hold on. Let me say they are not the New York teams. I know they have the New York name attached, but they're not New York. Okay, the only New York team in football are the Bills because they're actually in New York.
But
they're not New York City, but they're New York. They are New York.
Oh, wait, and then we're going to do some relocation. The Ravens will play near the Redskins are going to come up north.
Watch the football team.
right? And
You, sir, are out of order for
You,
that.
sir,
and they're going to play in a real market out of
Because
Baltimore.
There's no R's. They are the Washington football team. That's what they are. Let's get this.
I didn't hear any R's in that team name.
So we're going to keep them in Washington. You know, they're going to stay there. We're going to move the Ravens up north a little bit. And then, we're going to have a team in New York that can play football because we deserve a team that can play football.
We have
I don't know what we got.
We got the Bills. At this moment, we have the Bills.
Sam Darnold all of a sudden can throw a football and can win games.
Apparently
where was this when he was playing with the Jets?
At the moment, 2-0 with the Panthers.
With a team that nobody expected anything. Nobody expected anything out of them. They're 2-0.
Hey, look, I mean,
so
it's good for Sam Darnold. Maybe it was a change of scenery what he needed. I don't know.
Getting back to my fantasy, so I went 1-1, one in the fan league. I put a smackdown on somebody named Kayla. I think I've heard of that person before.
Just a reminder, JB, you might not want to count it, but I came back and beat you pretty well. I mean, I didn't beat you by a lot, but I beat you well
by 3
because
points.
it was an impressive
3
score.
points.
It was impressive being down by 20. You understand that you had a net gain before Aaron Jones of 20 points. So you were up by like 40, I believe. I believe. And I could be wrong.
No,
I came back.
I was up 20 because Hawkinson got 16.
Okay, Hawkinson got 16. So you had a net gain of 30 plus points. And I managed to score over 40 with one player to beat you.
It was a 21-point lead going into the last
To be fair,
night.
he had to use the Lions to do it.
Hey, but it's TJ Hawkinson. That's not
probably doesn't. Probably doesn't get 41 if they're playing like the Vikings or the Bears.
It doesn't matter.
It's a little bit of a fluke.
You know what
win.
I'm going to say? Hold on.
It's a little bit of a fluke win.
Hold on. I'm going to no. JB, I'm going to remind the fans of something you said. These are words that came out of your mouth. You can only play the people. You can only play the people and the teams on your schedule. So don't complain, because your words exactly are that they can't play anybody other than the team on their schedule. And they played the Lions, and that's what happened. It's not anybody's fault.
Let's stop for a second. Let's stop for a second, because I got to ask this question on the record. Is anyone P-testing Aaron Rodgers? Because he looks strung out. I'm sorry. I've seen Aaron Rodgers for years. I got to put that on the record.
But he's a 39-year-old man. He kind of looks like he's 39.
No, he doesn't look 39.
He's aging.
No, he looks a little worse.
He looks way older than I look, and I'm a bit older.
Through 2 weeks, he doesn't look so great. Not in terms of play. I mean in terms of physical appearance.
He looks like
play is fine.
He looks like an old man. Well, this week his play was fine.
Right. Well, I'm just saying,
he played the Lions.
Overall, that's not the concern. The point is, he doesn't physically look so great. That's
so. But yeah, getting back to Aaron Rodgers, I want to know if they're P-testing us, because I'm sorry, he just does not. He looks like he's on something. I mean, I doubt that he is. I really don't think he is, but sure as hell has the looks of it.
For anybody that hasn't actually seen him recently,
he looks rough. Looks like the guy from Shameless.
See if you could find a picture from now and a picture from a few years ago, just to show the difference. And I'm not talking about age, because you don't age that way. He just looks like he's off. You know.
Well, let me do this. Let's find a picture of him now first, and then I'll get a then picture, because that's easy. That's not hard. But continue while I find these awful pictures.
Yeah.
So back to Jake's fluke win.
Thank you.
I mean, he had to use 41 points against the Lions.
John,
come back.
If this was you, you'd be ecstatic.
The last touchdown drive was insane. How many penalties are we going to call? Does the NFL really want the Packers to win that badly?
I guess
yes.
So.
Yes, they do. Did you watch the Chargers Cowboys?
There you go. I got a picture for you.
That game was penalties.
This is 3 years or three. I want to say 3 years. It is 3 years. 3 separate years of Aaron Rodgers in one picture. So here is Rodgers essentially over the years. And the point is, this is, of course, very young. I understand that. But this is more or less what we've kind of known he looks like. That's what we've kind of come to know as his look, if you will, right? I think that's a fair statement to say. That's more or less what he looks like on the average, maybe a little bit older.
Looks like he doesn't shower ever.
And the last picture On the left, he just looks homeless.
That he looks like he's on like Survivor or one of those type of shows where he hasn't showered in a couple weeks and he's trying to win the competition. That's what he looks like.
It makes me pose the question: what's going on? I mean, is there something going on in his personal life that we don't know about?
There's something.
Is he just?
I mean, they didn't even look good. They didn't even look good the first half against the Lions. Like they were losing by 3 to the Lions. To the Detroit Lions, you should have been blowing them out by the end of the first or second quarter.
Let's not even talk about his play. He physically looks defeated.
He looks off. He looks something's wrong.
What I'd like to point out is that was Aaron Rodgers, who is, what'd you say, 39?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, who is currently 44. Now, I don't like Tom Brady. I'm not trying to say I like him. I can't stand the guy. But Tom looks good. Tom looks like
he clearly sold his soul to the devil so he could, never age and never have to stop playing football. He clearly did that.
That's fine, but
he did that in like 2001, 2000.
But hold on. Here is a picture. I believe this was actually his headshot for the year. The team photo. This is what Tom looks like. Now, the hair could be a little better, but
okay, now that's a little bit of a
it's creepy.
Weird picture.
It's creepy.
It is. It is a weird picture. The eyes are kind of scary.
He looks healthy.
He doesn't look strung
out.
That's
the point. That's the point of what I want to show.
He doesn't look strung out, but he looks like he's like pretty energetic.
Right. Yes.
Well, maybe
very energetic. He looks like
for 44.
Just a little.
Little snot hanging out of the nose.
Little something. I won't name names, but we all know what I'm thinking.
He could be a coach for the Miami Dolphins in the future, is what you're saying.
It could be a lot of things. Yeah. I think him and Lawrence Taylor were discussing a little bit, and Lawrence is teaching him the ways, because anyone that knows anything about LT he was notorious for a little before the game.
He had a lot of allergies.
He's publicly said that's what happened,
right?
and that explains why he was so good, or at least part of it.
LT formerly with Mr. Belichick. There's a connection. Belichick with Brady.
Oh,
maybe he got him hooked up. Maybe he has LT's phone number and he contacted him for Brady.
So he's had 50-hour energy. That's what he's had. He looks good.
He said he wants to play till he's 50.
I cannot believe that. He said that
if he got hit, like if he actually got like planted by somebody for one sack, I feel like he would split in half at his age.
Oh, but they won't let him. They won't let him. They won't let their golden boy get touched.
No.
And then anytime somebody gets near him, he curls up into a ball and just falls over.
Tuck rule. He just
it works. Crazy.
He goes in the fetal position, but it works.
The tuck rule. Another horrible blasphemous thing on the NFL.
Talk about going into the past.
Hold on. You want to talk about horrible rules? This stupid
taunting garbage.
Thank you. It is one of the worst. Look, I know we've talked about this before, and that's fine. I understand it now. But there was stuff in the Seahawks game, I believe.
There's stuff in the Cowboys game.
I don't remember seeing that. I mean, I believe it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. So
there's stuff in the Dolphins game.
You'll have to tell me about those that you saw in a minute. But I don't remember exactly the play. I think it was a pass defended, and the defender got up. I think it was number 6 for the Seahawks. I can't remember who wears what number anymore, because the stupid number rule is like it throws me off. I see defenders wearing number 6, and I'm like, who the heck is that? But he got up and he just flexed his muscles and celebrated and was excited. They called the flag, and I look. I get you don't want to, I don't know, piss people off. I don't know, be too far and rude. I guess I don't know, but I'm sorry. I mean, he flexed his muscles. He was excited.
Well, that critical Broncos fan, John Mizek's out of order. I mean, that's just unnecessary to tell us that you have no issue with this rule.
This is pathetic.
It's pathetic. You really should be ashamed of yourself.
How can you say you have no issue with it? You're okay.
Oh, he's a Broncos fan, so I mean that's I kind of understand. He's not used to celebrating a whole lot. I get it.
Not to say that any of us are used to celebrating a lot more, but
Well,
but when Teddy Bridgewater's your quarterback, I mean, I get it.
There's not a lot to celebrate. I get it.
It's kind of depressing. I get it.
It is.
It's kind of depressing.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah.
I remember celebrating, but that was when he had Eli. Now I just watch Monday Night Football.
What about?
Speaking of Eli,
oh gosh, here we go with this nonsense.
No.
This is nonsense.
This will be quick.
Yeah, please make this garbage.
When we are recording this is Tuesday before. It is September 21st, 2021, and Eli's jersey and number will be retired this coming weekend.
Thank goodness.
And I'll actually be at that game. So,
thank goodness you're not going into the nonsense.
No. Eli's a Hall of Famer, but that's a whole other conversation.
Well, according to my team name, he's not.
But John, we're not going to talk about that. I'm just going to mute you so you can't say anything. But look, the point what I was making is I will be at the game this weekend. And I'm very much looking forward to that, and hopefully I'll get some pictures and that's all. Just wanted to throw that out there. Just hey, you're gonna be at the Giants game. Maybe you'll see me. That's all. Simple as that. Not gonna get into it. Eli's a Hall of Famer. Not letting John respond though.
He's really not, according to my team.
He really is. But JB, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna have to agree with Jake on this one. John's out of order for even disrespecting a two-time winning Super Bowl champion quarterback starter.
Hey, it's more Super Bowls than John's had in quite a while.
No, I've never won a Super Bowl.
Exactly. In quite a while.
Yeah, I played for a long time, 20 years in the league, and just couldn't win one.
John, what did you play? Were you on left bench or right bench?
I was defensive back. Defensive back.
No. But which side of the bench were you playing on?
I played the 17th corner on the team.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You were the 12th man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was part of the 54-man roster.
Side of the bench? What side of the bench were you on? Left or right?
I was on the I was the 54th man on the roster.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. All right, back to the stupid rule. John,
by the way, did you see Jared Cook's celebration? So Jared Cook scores a touchdown, and I think the touchdown got called back anyway because of a penalty, but he pretended to be cooking because his name's Jared Cook.
That's clever.
And so he started doing this like he's cooking something up. And they called a taunting penalty on him. He didn't even look at anybody. He just, scored a touchdown, looked at his teammates and went like that. And they threw a penalty on him. I believe they called it back because of a hold or something, but
more wins than basically any other quarterback you have on the roster or had in the past 20 years. Thank you very much.
I believe 8 wins is Eli, because I don't think he ever won a playoff game outside of the 2 runs.
I don't recall.
I don't think he ever has. I think those were the only time he won.
The point is, it's more wins than any Broncos quarterback has had probably since John Elway.
Peyton Manning.
No, Peyton Manning doesn't have that many, does he?
He has 7.
7, because he made it to the Super Bowl against Seattle, and then Super Bowl against Carolina.
Well, he might have more because he went to 2 Super Bowls, but he may have gone to. I think he went to the playoffs a year between there.
I don't recall.
But I don't know if he won a game.
I don't recall. That's why I say that. But
yeah, I think he does.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
But anyway, like these taunting penalties are dumb. You call Jared Cook for that. Celebration. The Bills, I believe, stopped the Dolphins on like a 3rd down. Guy got up and just flexed or something. They called a taunting penalty on him. Yeah. Drive continue. It's just so stupid. I mean, I get it. Like JB has been saying, like, I get it if you get in a guy's face and you start throwing the ball at him or something. It's different, but
by the way,
you get up, do this.
Peyton Manning only has 5 with Denver. He went 0-1 in 2012, 2-1 in 2013. That's when he lost in the Super Bowl. 0-1 in 2014 and 3-0 in 2015 when they won the Super Bowl. So my point still stands that he does not have as many wins.
Well, if he played for 15 years or whatever with the Broncos, I'm pretty sure he would have more wins in the playoffs than Eli.
Look, I didn't say that. All I said was more wins than any quarterback in the past 20 years that plays for the Broncos.
By the way, Peyton Manning.
Players that actually played for the Broncos and won them.
Peyton Manning went to more. Peyton Manning has more playoff appearances as a Bronco in a couple years than Eli Manning does in his entire career.
I don't think that's true. I don't
know.
Maybe Eli has more, but Eli's only won playoff games in two years.
He's got 2 Super Bowls.
No, he's never won a playoff game.
Eli has
won. Let's do it this way. John, how many
6
quarterbacks?
years.
How many
6
quarterbacks
appearances.
besides Tom Brady in the last 20 years have won 2 Super Bowls?
Ben Roethlisberger.
By the way, he does not have
Eli,
more wins.
Tom
John
Brady.
Isaac. Tim Tebow had 1 win.
1 win.
One.
That's against the
1 and 1.
Steelers.
He was
And that's
1
it.
and
And he
1.
got demolished against Tom
He's-
Brady.
I think John Isaac is saying take away all the Super Bowl years, those playoff wins, vacate those.
Yeah,
I
but
think
you can't take that away like
You
that.
can't take 2 Super
You
Bowls
can't
away.
take Super Bowl runs
But
away
I
like that.
think that's the spirit of his comment, even though he's
If you
out there for saying that. But
if you
fine.
take
Yeah,
the
that-
2 Super Bowl runs the Ravens had away, what have they done?
Right. I
If
mean,
you take away Tom Brady's 7 rings, what has he really done? You know?
yeah,
just take a couple of those championships away. What has he really done? I mean, you know, he's had
A
some
little
good
bit
seasons.
overrated, don't you
If you-
think?
I mean,
if
you
you
know
take
what?
away, well,
Take Peyton Manning's 2 Super Bowls away. What has he really done? I mean, like, come
take
on.
away Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points in the game. How many points does he really score? I mean, come on.
Right? I mean,
He
can
scored
do anybody.
0. See, he wouldn't have scored 100. He wouldn't have scored 100.
See, he wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good. If
I
he
mean,
scored
come on.
100 points less, he would have had 0 in that game.
I mean, I know he's well-intentioned and I know what he's trying to say, but come on. I mean, you can't play that game. I mean,
And not only that, I mean, he went to Green Bay in like
yeah.
subarctic temperatures and beat the Packers, which was probably one of my favorite games I've ever watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he picked off Brett Favre, didn't he? And he kicked the game-winning field goal.
I
Yeah,
love this
he did- he
comment.
did- he did all.
Love this comment. If Brady would have won those 2, if Brady never lost a Super Bowl, you understand he'd have 10 rings right now.
You know he'd be
Yeah.
Thanos, right? He'd
He'd be
basically
Thanos
be
twice
Thanos.
over.
Yeah. He'd have all the rings, all the Infinity Stones, and he'd be unstoppable.
He'd basically be Thanos twice over.
And we
Yes.
and maybe he already is, and that's
Oh,
why
he
half
is.
the
Oh, he
population
is.
is.
I'm convinced.
Poof.
I'm convinced that Tom Brady is the devil in disguise.
He
There
doesn't
is-
age.
No,
He's 44. The only person that's allowed to not age when they're that high in the age category is Paul Rudd. But
no.
everybody
There's-
loves Paul Rudd.
No.
Paul
There-
Rudd's one of the
there-
greatest human beings ever.
I don't disagree with that. The only other guy that's also not allowed to really age, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman and Betty White are the 2 people who are just not allowed to die. Also, just
That's true.
throwing that out there. There's just can't. I mean, I know.
Wow.
Look, I know
Oh,
we're getting off the rails here, but it has to be said.
Matt's out of order. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Matt's out of order. I mean, if I
I
could
love
give him
this.
if I could
I
give him
love
a
this.
game misconduct, I
love
would.
that.
Game misconduct.
Game
We're going hockey on this.
misconduct for that.
How do we go
for
with the
that
hockey
comment.
on this?
John has got
Well, look.
a lot on his mind. That's all. He
Look,
can't
I'm
handle it.
I'm gonna suspend Matt for 5 games for that comment. We found a little bit of HGH in his locker, a little bit of HGH.
In his
So
locker?
yeah, it's been it wasn't planted there, but he had a little bit of HGH sitting in his locker.
It
when
was
we
planted
searched
there,
him,
John. Let's be real. It was planted.
and we're gonna have to suspend him for 5 games. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Eli's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, did you watch anything that he's ever done in the
Wow.
regular season? And you
Wow,
tell
we're
me
bringing-
this guy's a
We're
Hall of
bringing
Famer.
an Eagles fan saying that.
John, I
Eli's
just
a
like to
Hall of
point out
Famer,
one
John. That's-
simple thing.
You're
Please
done
play
now.
the
He
video where
has
he
more
threw.
championships than you. Than like
Please
your
play.
team.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. I forgot that I play in the Super Bowl.
No, your team.
Please play the clip where he throws a left-handed ball for an interception in the red zone. Please play that clip, and then you tell me if that
and you know
guy's
what
a
I'll
Hall
also
of Famer.
play? I'll play the clip where he threw the Plaxico Burress in the end zone touchdown.
Yeah, they
where
only
he
scored
wants to-
17 points in that game, didn't they?
So
yeah,
what?
thank you, defense. Thank you, defense, for
That's fine.
badgering Tom Brady all game.
That's fine because guess what?
It's
He put up
a
enough
team
points to
game.
win, and more
It's a team
importantly, he was playing a very good defense. I mean, are you kidding me?
Troy Aikman's career got cut short, Chris Lahif, because of his injuries, the concussions. If he didn't get cut short, he would have had a lot better stats. Eli's not even close to Troy
hold on.
Aikman.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because guess what? His stats that he accumulated put him in the Hall of Fame.
By the way, 17 points scored for the offense, great, but your defense held him to.
You can't put someone into the Hall of Fame for what they would have
held
done.
Tom
with their
Brady to
stats.
2 touchdowns and
Hold on. You can't put someone in the Hall of Fame for what they would have done. You put them in for what they did do. Troy Aikman was put in
What
for
did
what
he do?
Hold on. Troy Aikman was put in for what he did, Not what he would have done had his career not been cut short. Not what he might.
No, I was just responding to because he said if Troy Aikman's a Hall of Famer.
But his
of course,
point
Troy Aikman's a Hall of Famer.
Why? Of course, his stats aren't that great. They're good. They're good, but they're not.
He's easily a Hall of Famer.
Look at his stats. They're not like jump off the page, put them in.
Wow. Hi, guys.
They're
John
good.
Mizek, we need something beyond out of order for Jon Mizek with this because he's going to be banned from watching the show in a minute.
He's suspended for 5 games.
That was pathetic. I mean, I'm
going to have to give him the Matt special. Suspend him for 5.
I've never heard such a bad analysis.
I'll gladly pull up Vinny Testaverde's stats versus Eli Manning and disprove you in just about every possible way.
We know Vinny Testaverde's like top 10, I think, or he was for like, I think passing yards or something like that. But Vinny Testaverde's nowhere close to Hall of Fame. Nowhere
he's
close.
Not high anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, well, I'm sure a lot of guys have passed him in recent years, but the Matt special's a 5-game suspension.
There you go.
So you're game misconduct for you.
Back to my point.
And a 5-game suspension.
Well, back to my point with Troy Aikman. Was he good? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I think he was good, but I don't think he was jump off the page. Oh my God, the greatest player of all time. When you look at what he averaged on touchdowns a season, it's not that great. You know, 165 touchdowns in a.
But it was a different league back then.
I know, but I'm just saying.
By the way, Eagles fan Chris Lahave.
11. Excuse me.
Eagles
15 to 16 touchdowns a year is not great regardless. No matter what era that's in, it's not that incredible.
By the way, Eli's record, he was at 500 in his career in the regular season. That's a 500 quarterback.
John, you also understand he had historically some of the worst defenses possible.
Oh,
right?
get it. Yeah, he just had a defense that held Tom Brady and the undefeated Patriots to 14 points. Get out of here with that nonsense.
You have forced my hand.
You're
you have forced my hand to pull the stats that I do
14 points to an undefeated team with Randy Moss. And you're saying, he has statistically one of the worst defenses throughout his career. Get out of here.
Sure did. You know how many times? All right, so let's do this. You want to rehash this argument? I would gladly bring it back up because I have the stats in front of me. What's important to note is this. As I find the stat, here you go, right at the
Matt.
Here we go. Defensive rankings by year. All right, 2019 is last season. They were ranked 30th. 2018, 23. They were 27th in 2017.
He only had Michael Strahan, Hall of Famer.
John, I'm not going to go through the whole list because it's a lot of years, but I have the stat that I'm looking for, which is to tell you the important stat, which is...
He said that's Matt Ryan's career.
In his 15 years at quarterback...
I'm lifting his 5-game suspension for that comment.
As 15 years as the quarterback of the New York Football Giants, do you know how many times his defense was ranked in the top half, meaning 16th or better?
Don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me.
4 times. So that means that 11 of his 15 seasons, his defense was 16th or worse, and in only 8 seasons of his 15, so just above half, did his defense rank above 20th.
And they still had Michael Strahan and that defensive line, O.C. Manura, Justin Tuck.
John, you're missing the point. He didn't have great defenses most of the time. And when his defense was ranked 20th or better, he only had 1 losing season. So he still managed to get the team to play at least well enough to not lose on the season.
By the way,
a decent defense. When
Mr. Eagles fan Chris Lahif, if you don't know me, I believe everything I say. I stand by my words. So the fact that you're saying, no, I know you don't believe what you're saying, the way you look in the mirror, have you met me? Have you met me? Because if you haven't, you should get to know me because I believe everything that I say. I don't blow smoke out of my ass. So everything I say, I believe. By the way, going back to Matt's comment, because I'm kind of all over the place. Matt said half the players in the Hall of Fame aren't, oh my gosh, greatest players of all time. Well, if we go back to my old segment of yanking players out of the Hall of Fame, I'm all for that. I have a nice laundry list of players I'll just take right out of the Hall of Fame, and I'll be happy to do it. It won't, no skin off my back. I will gladly do that. I have that for baseball. I have that for football.
John thinks that Albert Pujols should be in a homeless shelter. So, I mean,
Yeah, he
where do we
should.
go with
He
this?
really deserves it. I mean, that guy robbed the Angels of a lot of money. Robbed the Angels fans and robbed Mike Trout of opportunities at playoffs. They could have spent that money on better
I think
players.
This is one of the best arguments ever for Eli. If Joe Namath can be in the Hall of Fame, Eli Manning is in the Hall of Fame.
Guy guaranteed a Super Bowl.
Speaking,
The guy guaranteed a
John,
Super Bowl and went through.
Boo hiss. I don't want it. Here's what I got to point out. He beat
Eli was 500.
Hold on. He beat arguably the greatest team ever. And I understand his defense was a large part of it, but it doesn't matter.
Very large part of it.
It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, who got the W at the quarterback position? Tom Brady or Eli Manning? Just who did it?
Oh, we know who won.
Eli
we don't
Manning.
have to go back over who won.
Right. So Eli Manning got the W at the end of the day. The little W was put next to his name saying he won, not Tom Brady. Now, I understand there are other factors, but he was the winning quarterback, and he didn't just do nothing. He scored points. He was out on the field. He made plays. Now, I know the defense carried more. I understand that. But he was out there, and he made the plays, and he won the game.
He made two plays. Two big plays, really.
Doesn't matter.
And the one was luck. That play that's the greatest Super Bowl play of all time was nothing but luck. That wasn't skill. That was luck.
It does not.
You saw Justin Timberlake put the gum on the side of Tyree's helmet. This guy will never get in the game.
It doesn't matter, John. It doesn't.
You never saw that commercial?
He won at the end of the day.
You never saw that commercial, JB?
No, I have not.
Where Justin Timberlake put gum on the side of Tyree's helmet. He's like, this guy will never get in the game. He stuck gum to the side of his helmet. And Tyree grabbed the helmet and Timberlake's, oh crap. He ran in and made the play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I hate to say Eli's a Hall of Famer.
You hate to say? Why do you hate to say?
Because I feel like we've discussed this way too much. It's just
we have. Because John can't accept
anymore.
The simple fact that he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer because of his name.
No, he's not.
Archie Manning's a Hall of Famer because of his name.
No. Archie Manning was the first Manning. So
yeah, they're a big part of the NFL. Their name is
Archie was put in before the other two became a real big part like they are now.
Yeah, but that name is a household name in the NFL.
No, if anybody made a household name, it was Peyton. Let's be real.
Archie's in the Hall of Fame, John Mizek. He shouldn't be. I'd yank him right out of the Hall of Fame if I could. But I can't.
I don't know if he is. I don't recall.
Archie made that name with more interceptions than touchdowns.
No, I don't think Archie Manning is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
He is.
Not. I don't think so.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
I don't.
Well, John has been there, so I want to take John's word on this one again. I mean, this is scary. You're making me agree with John more and more.
Hey, he might be, and I don't see it, but I don't recall. Anyway, not the point, though. The real point is he's not the one that made the name. No, he did not. Archie did not make that name. I'm sorry, he didn't. It was all Peyton.
But how is that name so big? I mean, we weren't alive except for JB. I mean, JB was like 30 whenever Archie was playing back then.
Wow. You're killing me, John. You're killing me.
You're just mean.
By the way,
no, your age is killing you.
Wow. Still look better than Aaron Rodgers.
You're just mean.
You really do. You really do. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're 20 years younger than Rodgers. Looks like he's in his 60s, man, with the scraggly, thin hair.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
You are really just digging your own grave.
I try. I really try.
As long as you admit it. Yeah, I'm trying to find his name on his list, and I don't see him. I don't think he is. I can list you all the quarterbacks, but I don't think Archie Manning is in the Hall of Fame, unless I'm reading over his name. Here, I'll share the screen. This is now becoming a legitimate conversation, of course. But
yeah, I saw him. I mean,
I don't know.
Hall of Famers by position. Here's your quarterbacks. So Troy Aikman, George Blanda, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Dawson, John Elway, Brett Favre, Dan Fouts, Otto Graham.
I don't know. I'm guessing he was inducted in 1988.
Here's Peyton.
If I was going to guess.
But I don't see him.
Listen, my
on the list of quarterbacks.
My research staff says he was inducted in 1988.
Well, I don't see him on the list of quarterbacks on the Hall of Fame's website.
Listen, don't doubt my researcher. 1988.
Look, I'm just saying he's not on there.
Well, we'll see next year. How about when us three go to the
That's
Hall
fine.
of Fame?
Look, I believe that he is. I'm just making a point of saying if you read that,
He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be.
More interceptions and touchdowns.
I don't see him. So he's definitely in the College Football Hall of Fame. I know, and I know he's in the Louisiana Football or Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Us four. Like I forgot Matt was watching. Yeah, well, Matt, you're still suspended, so I can't really name you because, I mean, you're not on the payroll right now because you're suspended for 5 games for that ridiculous comment.
Yeah, there you go. College Football Hall of Fame.
Eli and Peyton show. Get that nonsense out of here.
Yeah, that show is great, and you just don't like it because you don't
like
taste.
it at all.
That's
not football.
This is coming from a guy
who likes your prototypical.
He likes his steaks well done, so he doesn't understand.
I lifted John Mizek's suspension, not yours, sir. The Matt Ryan comment.
All right, we got to get back to football.
All right, anyway, we're just all over the place tonight.
So, JB, I think there were some games you wanted to talk about, so I'll give you the floor first.
So, I mean, what happened with the Giants? What is going on with them? So, to lose to a team that doesn't have a name,
the Washington football team,
or a quarterback,
in a game they had no business losing. It was set up for them to get an easy road win. All they had to do was come out and perform. They had the game in hand. I fell asleep. I woke up.
Well, that's why they lost.
When I wake up, the TV's on still in the game, and I hear, the Redskins win. So the
Washington football team. That's 2 strikes.
I'm going to
pull an Aaron Judge or John Carlos Stanton to strike out.
Until we can beat them, they're going to be the Redskins. But yeah, I hear that the Washington football team won 30-29. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It was so disgusting.
JB, I have to interrupt you because this may be one of the best comments I think I've ever heard. So, who did you play this week in our fan league?
Who did I play this week?
Remind me who you played.
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember names.
I'm fairly certain you played Kayla.
Yes.
And you mentioned that at the beginning of the show.
I received a message that says, and I quote, "I really don't want to listen to anything JB says right now. I'm in mourning." She's that upset about the loss.
She did good, though. I have to say, I'm impressed. Our fans are doing well.
Just the comment, "I am in mourning." That is, to me, that's fantastic.
I thought it was nighttime.
Listen. All I'm going to say, there's no sleepers in this league. Everybody knows what they're doing. You can't take a week off.
It's all right. That's why I'm 2-0, leading the league.
That's why JB still has players on his team that have been on IR for 3 weeks.
It's not a surprise.
That's because
you can't take a week off, though.
No. The whole Thursday night game, I couldn't take them out. And there's really nobody good in free agency that I want.
So you keep players that are out for season.
So you just keep players that can't do anything for you.
That are out for season. He still has Gus Edwards, by the way. Still holding on to Gus Edwards.
You think he's coming back?
Yeah, maybe he thinks that.
Maybe he's going to come back.
Maybe that's why he's losing. Look, maybe that's why he lost to you by 3. He's just holding on to players that don't even play.
Maybe he's got an inside man.
Gus bus. Listen, never get rid of the Gus movie. Bad luck.
Very good movie.
Maybe he thinks that he gets all the points for Ravens running backs if he keeps Gus Edwards.
Wow,
he gets points by osmosis, basically.
Pretty funny, John.
All right, continue what you were talking about.
So the reason I lost this week is Armani Cooper's rib injury. I mean, the guy was awful this week. He couldn't do much. I don't know what was going on.
Well, Dak was terrible.
Bad. I'm going to mute him, and I'm going to put him out of order because it's excuses. I don't want to hear it. You lost a loss.
I thought he said Amani Toomer.
I thought so, too.
I mean, Amani Toomer played for the Giants, not the Cowboys.
Let's see how long he'll stay muted because he's still muted and he's trying to talk to us. I don't know if he knows
I don't think he's figured it out.
I don't know if the old man figured out how to unmute himself yet. I'm not certain he knows how.
Wow.
I mean, there he is. Oh,
yeah, this statistically is the least amount of Debbie comments that we've gotten in the history of the show since she started commenting. She's had one This
They're
is
both out of order.
statistically low for
Okay.
her comments. I thought the over-under bet line was about 4.5, and she's at 1 right now. So
Is that from Rafael Esperanza?
yes.
Our inside tracks
Yes.
to the props?
Our
Bet
inside
line.
man. Yeah.
Bet
shot
line
one.
had John Mizek at 20.5 as well.
I think he's exceeded that between Facebook and YouTube.
And
If
Matt
we're
was
counting-
about at 14, I think.
Matt should be under that right now. We'll see.
Should be.
We'll see. All right, back to the football game. JB.
Yeah, so
He
so
fell
what-
asleep. His age got up to
I
him.
mean,
Old man can't
So-
keep up. I know. It's hard.
so obviously, well, it's Giants football.
It's because
The
he's in
last-
bed.
No, since Eli's left, there hasn't been a reason to watch. In the last few years of Eli, there hasn't been a reason to watch. You know. So
But I
what
gotta
happened?
say this though. I gotta say this. Daniel Jones was not the problem this week. It was not the problem. I'm not saying he was the best quarterback in the
Kenny
league.
Galladay thought otherwise.
No, that's not apparently what happened. So apparently he wasn't yelling at Daniel Jones. He was apparently yelling at Jason Garrett.
Yeah, because you saw Jones flap back whenever
I'm just
Eric Galladay
saying.
said something. But no, they weren't talking to each other.
I'm not saying that's
Oh.
a fact. I'm just repeating what was told. I don't know anything.
Yeah, they come from the tree of Gettleman there, and we know that guy's full of hot air.
Yeah, but you know what? Jones had a decent week. I mean, it wasn't his best week, but it was solid. 22 for 32. So he completed 68% of his passes, almost 69. He threw for 249 yards.
Well,
You're
he's
such
a disappointment for only completing
you're a
68%.
John, you're a child for that. I heard that.
Thank you. Appreciate
One
that.
touchdown, 102.2 passer rating. That's a good passer rating. I would take that any day. Ran for 95 yards on 9 attempts.
What was the final score of the game?
For Daniel Jones?
No, the final score.
30.
30-29. So Daniel Jones wasn't good enough.
No,
It's not good
it
enough.
wasn't his fault, actually.
Darius Slayton drop a big touchdown in the fourth or something like that? Easy.
Well, here's the thing. So it's easy to blame Daniel Jones, but I wouldn't blame him because he had a touchdown that got called back, and it wasn't his fault. There was a holding penalty on the offensive line. Can't do anything about that. I believe it was offensive line. But he had a touchdown. He ran for a 20, 30-yard touchdown, I think. He ran for a good-sized touchdown. It was impressive. And he made it in the end zone. It just got called back. And then the Giants
It was a horrible play.
And then the Giants had won the game. Dexter Lawrence. What did he do? He did the Giants kind of thing and went off sides. I mean, is it Daniel Jones' fault? No, I don't think so.
You know, I said before the season, Giants should trade Saquon Barkley. Nobody listened to me. Trade the man. You need to get that ransom out of him, that King's ransom.
John, there's no King's ransom coming from him right now because he was injured last season, so his King's ransom, if you will, was out the window.
Still Barkley. By the way, keep talking. I got to go get my charger.
You can't trade him off an injury, though. They're not going to get anything valuable for him, so it's just wasted idea. You do that after he has a decent season,
right?
But you can't trade him off a knee injury.
But this is a game where, you know what? I know people are going to blame Jones because that's what people like to do, but the truth be told, I mean, it's not his fault. He played well. He did his job. I mean, he went out there. He scored points. He did everything he could, within reason, of course. And they almost won the game. They should have won the game. So to answer your question, what happened? Defense looked terrible. Excuse me. I think they're overrated. I think last year it feels more and more like a fluke. And penalties killed us. I mean, we had the game. It seemed handedly, but
and that's the surprising thing is because Joe Judge talks about discipline and doing things right coming from Belichick, just bad. And this was a game for this season to be anything. This was a game that they had to win. I mean, we're not going anywhere anyway, but
no,
to get somewhere in this whole season, and to get to 6 to 9 wins, this was a must-win game. We're in trouble. We got the only game right now that I think we could win, where we play Atlanta, and I don't think that's going to be very easy.
Well,
you still play the NFC East as you still play the Eagles twice.
Yeah, the NFC East is good. I mean, the Eagles through 2 weeks, the Eagles look like a decent team.
Yeah, how'd they do against the Niners?
Washington, hold on. No, I said a decent team. I didn't say.
Yeah, he played the Falcons week 1.
I said a decent team because the 49ers are a better team. So they held up with. They kept up with them. That's good for me.
Yeah, 11
That's why
points.
I say, John, they kept up with them. I didn't say that they outscored them. I said they kept up with them, which is it's true. Look at the score; they kept up. I'm not saying that they played well. I said they kept up with them. They made it. They lost by 1 score. I'm not saying they played well. They kept up with them is the point. They did that. Washington just beat us, and they're not great, but defensively they're still solid. And the Cowboys offensively are explosive so far. They're a good team. They look like it. So it's kind of like AL East. Giants are kind of like the Orioles right now. They're just bottom feeders. Everybody else is at least looking somewhat decent, if not good. And
at least the Orioles have more hope for the future than the Giants do right now.
Yeah, well, that was.
I don't know. The Giants have probably 2 top 10 picks to rate everything's going right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, Gettleman's picking those picks as of right
now.
Not
necessarily.
Unless he gets fired.
As of right now, he is.
As of right now, it'd be Gettleman picking those picks. And do you really trust him with the Kadarius Toney thing?
Oh, God. Don't even talk about Kadarius Toney.
Has he played yet? Like, has he done anything?
No, he's complained on Instagram, though.
Oh, boy. It's starting out great.
Let me see if I can find what he said. Because he just... I don't like it.
Why aren't they playing him?
I don't know.
Is he have an injury? Well, I mean, he was a 20th pick overall, so it does make a difference. You can't draft a guy 20th overall and he hasn't played in the first 2 games.
Look, I'm
curious. Like, why hasn't he, like, really been a part of the game plan?
He basically said, he's mad and don't blame me.
Oh, already. Jeez.
That seems to be the concept of the message.
Oh. That's not good.
Yeah. And apparently it was misconstrued. Oh, I don't know how you misconstrue that.
Yeah, he's a young guy. He knows what he's doing on social media. He knows what he's doing.
It wasn't an accident.
No.
He said what he said.
He's not JB's age. If JB sent that out, I would understand, but Tony did. JB's.
Wow,
that was mean.
Wow. See, I'm not even going to say anything on that one. I'm just gonna let the listeners hear the stupidity.
Ow!
Whoa! What stupidity?
Jeez!
No stupidity coming from this end.
Oh, that's not true.
I speak nothing but facts. Like my steak well done, burgers well done, nothing but facts.
I don't even want to hear them. All right, what else are we going to talk about, gentlemen? What's next on the docket?
By the way, JB and Deb never came through on trying to help set up for the cornhole tournament, so they basically forfeited. Yeah, we were ready, and I was here at my house where it was going to be held, so I was already ready here. I already had everything lined up, and they never showed up.
I've been on planet Earth every day since we did it. I haven't been an astronaut, so I told you, you bring the board to me, I'll beat you anywhere.
Well, you got to come to my house, and you didn't.
No. There's no cornhole in that part of the world that I can't trust the board.
I have boards and beanbags.
The earth may not curve the right way there, so no.
Okay, Kyrie Irving, calm down.
You know what? I'm just hearing excuses still. I mean,
I told you guys, pick a day. There was never talk a day. It was just a lot of talk. That's what young people do. They talk, but they never back it up.
Well, I would love to see you pick a day. Why do we have to do it?
It's getting a little cold. I don't know if my arm can play in the
John.
Plus, I hurt my shoulder at work the other day.
Boo-hoo.
So this is my throwing shoulder, so I really shouldn't be throwing beanbags. Going out and doing tournaments could get me in trouble at work. I don't want to do that. I have a job and I have a family to feed. I don't want to throw out my arm.
I haven't gotten any invitation to this imaginary game that John set up.
I'm getting real disappointed with what I'm hearing from John.
I was ready here at my house.
Throwing arm.
Well, I
don't want to hear it.
My arm is out of order right now.
Did you ever tell us, yeah, let's do it on this day? I never heard those words.
Look, I tried, but JB was just like, blah, blah, blah. I hear talk, and I couldn't get through to him. So.
Wow. So in other words, when I said the challenge is open, give me days, there was no talk of days.
It was a summer invitation. And it's now full.
Jake has won. John has lost. And me and Deb have won. So the three
I'm
winners
at
of the
my
losers.
house where this thing's being held, and you didn't show up.
Right. So therefore, as the host, you are supposed to invite your guests.
I tried, but they just wanted to talk fantasy football.
I never heard a date.
Yeah, go back to our fantasy football chat. Look the whole way through it and find that it sent out the invitation. Just go back the whole way through, find out it's in there.
Do it right now. Because I'll look up the word invitation.
Wow.
Well, I didn't put the word invitation. I put
all right, so what did you write? I'll look up.
I forget. I mean, I have short-term memory.
Wow.
Look, we'll go back to Matt's comment a little bit ago.
I'll look up the word cornhole. I'll look up the word cornhole.
Look, even Matt says I have short-term memory.
So, John, I see in my notes, my phone rather, when I search up the word cornhole, which would be assumingly in the invitation somewhere.
Typed cornhole? You don't want to look silly in a fantasy football chat.
Actually, you did, John, in our Sideline Sports chat.
That's not fantasy football.
You wrote that Debbie can also lose at cornhole and fantasy football.
That's true. She can lose at both.
But yet she has the most points with no help.
And the only other person that ever mentioned cornhole was Matt in our network chat, which was just referencing what's going on ESPN2. So
yeah, but I feel like Matt's a shark, and he's going to try and play like the pool game where he throws a game, and then you put money down, and then Matt's just like this.
And John, I even looked up the word home. You'd be invited to my home. I'll look up house next. In our fantasy chat, you wrote it once. You said they have home and road splits for fantasy points, breakdowns of each game.
Exactly.
So you never
home
invited us over. And I'll
so
look up the word house.
By default, we win 1-0.
Well, by the way, it is COVID, so I'm not sure if my wife would be okay with you guys coming over.
Oh, so now the excuse is coming. No, I understand. I understand. Hold on. I understand this is serious. COVID. I understand it's serious, but
don't downplay the safety of my family.
If you claimed you invited us, then you would have assumingly. No. You did. You said.
Well, there's
you
Fields here. There's Fields here. There's Fields.
But you claimed to have invited us. And if you would have done that, and it was
Jake,
at your house,
you're always invited.
Consent.
You're my teammate. You're always invited. You should know. You should know what I'm thinking.
But why would I know that?
Because you're my teammate. You got to read my mind.
I don't know your address even.
Oh well, then that's on you. I just can't help you.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to magically know his address. JB, this is sad.
All I'm going to say is, John, I'm going to meet you here. I was 45 minutes away from his house. You're right off the highway.
You were at his house at one point.
Wait,
yes, he was.
You're right off the highway. Yes, I get off the highway to where I'm supposed to meet him. 45 minutes away.
He says, let's meet at the Arby's. I mean, at the Arby's, and he's like, I'm not at that Arby's. I'm like, I went to the address you sent me, and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm at another Arby's. I don't know what Arby's I'm at. I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's go to my house. You clearly went to the wrong one.
Now we're
45 minutes.
I'll buy you dinner.
45 minutes off of the highway. That's right off the highway. That's all I'm going to say.
I waited at Arby's for about 20 minutes away from my family.
Twitter? Are you off the highway if it's 45 minutes away?
I waited away from my family at Arby's for this guy. He didn't show up. So I invite him to my house, which I did. He showed up, gave my address, and bam, he ate like 3 bites, didn't finish his food.
Yes,
Well,
I was
why?
See
so
what kind of
exhausted.
I have a
He
guess
is-
why. Hold on. I have a guess why. My assumption is you made him burgers or steak and made it well done.
I
And
bought
because
him
he's
Arby's.
because he's a sensible human being.
I bought
He
him
said,
Arby's.
this tastes like a hockey puck. It's basically rubber. This is disgusting. I'll eat a
Arby's
few
is
bites to
not.
be polite.
Arby's
and then I'll
does not
stop.
taste like that. Don't disgrace
If
Arby's.
you tell them to make it like a hockey puck, it will taste like
It's top 3 on fast food chains. Arby's.
Oh,
So
no.
don't even start me.
No.
Arby's is one of the best. Not counting price because we know it's expensive.
Well, this is the one thing that I will agree with Mr. Isaac about. Well done steak would kill you.
Well, so
Exactly.
could a bloody steak.
Oh,
No,
hold
could
on.
You could get E.
Steak
coli.
only has to be cooked on the top and
John,
the bottom.
You could get.
I'm gonna
Whoa, Deb, you're out of order.
John,
saying
John,
Arby's
John,
sucks. Whoa.
you know there's no such thing as a bloody steak, right?
Well, I mean,
It's-
if you,
Nope.
yeah,
When you cut a steak open, that's not blood. That is
Hang on.
there's blood in there.
No.
Do you know what the red stuff that pours out is?
I do actually. It's not blood.
I'm calling timeout. Let's have a moment of silence here.
Can we address that Debbie said Arby's sucks? I mean, that's
Hold on.
wrong.
Hold on. Here we go. So it turns out it's not actually blood, but rather a protein called myoglobin, which is not blood. So when your steak is bleeding, it's really not blood. It's just stuff in the muscle fibers that's coming out.
She's out of order. You have to stop her, JB.
So,
this is nonsense.
Hang on. I'm not totally anti-Arby's, but Arby's is not in the top 3 or 5.
But it doesn't suck.
I'm not going to say it sucks.
Thank you.
They do make a decent Reuben. If you're going to go for a fast food Reuben.
Yeah, you ate 3 bites of that.
Well, that's besides the point.
Oh, God.
Arby's is fantastic. The roast beef's amazing. The beef and cheddar, amazing. Their curly fries.
For everybody watching, we had to take a moment of silence for John, who killed the cow when he made it well done.
You have to kill the cow eventually.
Oh, you're terrible. All right. Sports news. We have to actually talk about sports because
you're telling me people watch us for sports, not to talk about Arby's? No.
I mean, they watch Peyton and Eli, and they don't even really talk about the game. They talk about nonsense. Peyton's running around wearing a helmet, smashing his head into things, and
okay, so you guys need to go to Chicago. This is actually a true statement. Since we're talking about food for a second, forget about Pat McAfee. I don't like him. Kickers should have radio shows.
Oh,
yeah, but he's swearing on national television, which I have a problem with.
I agree with that.
He's not a professional.
He's not
a broadcaster. He is a clown.
He
That's
is.
what
Thank you.
He is. You know. Clown. You know who else is a clown? Oh, you know who else is a clown? John.
Said Bozo. Me?
Yeah. The lack of denial is the problem for me.
Look, I know what I am. Not a clown. But Debbie said in Chicago they have real beef sandwiches.
Go get yourself.
You also have Andy Dalton as your quarterback, so I don't believe
you. Go to Chicago and get a Portillo's beef sandwich. Got to be one of the best I've had. All I'm going to say.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little more football or sports in general.
So, let's get back to football. What's going on with all of these injuries? Tua, Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Well, Tua's was because the right tackle's a moron, so that solves that.
Well, I don't know if we could say that.
Oh, yeah, I can. He called hike, and as soon as he called hike, he got hit in the back because the right tackle whiffed on his block, and the guy ran free.
So he did execute. That doesn't make him a moron. That makes him not
a moron. I mean, you're a lineman whiffing.
Hold on, John. Let me ask you this, because that's not executing properly on a play, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So every time Tua throws an interception, is he a moron?
No, because he's not getting his guys killed.
Hold on.
He's not.
But that's not why I asked you. Did he make a mistake? Did he mess up on a play?
Jesse Davis always makes mistakes.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Time out. I asked you very specifically, did he mess up on the play? And you said yes. And you called him a moron.
He is a moron.
Hold on. But Tua also throws an interception. He messed up on a play, which is also correct.
Way different. Way
No, it's
different.
not.
But
Yes.
your definition was he's a moron because he messed up on a play. That's what I asked you. And you got caught saying yes. So if Tua throws an interception,
did you
he's
see
also a moron.
Watch the play. Please watch the play because
I get that, but it just means he's not good enough to play tackle in the NFL. That doesn't mean he's a moron.
The Dolphins' pass grade block this year for their line is 38. That's dead last. The next team in 31st has a 43. 5 points higher for pass grade as a team than last place, which is the Dolphins.
Doesn't make him a
That
moron.
doesn't
He's
make him
an
a moron.
idiot.
It makes it.
No.
No, it makes him not good enough to play in the NFL.
He should be in the NFL. You're getting guys killed.
But that's not his fault.
Get out of there.
That's on the Dolphins organization for keeping him on the team then.
Ooh.
Silence.
The guy.
I'm not happy with the offensive line.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Their running back. The running back. Myles Gaskin. Do you want to know what his Pro Football Focus grade was for blocking on Sunday? 14.
That's awesome.
Okay. 14. And the line as a whole was about 35.
You know whose fault all of this goes back to?
The GM.
Coaching staff. No.
The GM put it together.
Doesn't matter. The coaching staff's job is to prepare the players for the game. So what you're telling me is Brian Flores and his coaching staff are incompetent morons.
Because
based on your logic, it is because he didn't prepare his players properly. They didn't execute properly.
And it's when you have guys that aren't talented.
So Myles Gaskin's not talented?
No. He's not a talented pass blocker.
I think you're wrong. I think he's a talented player.
Well, the 14 pass block per Football Focus rating.
He's a talented player.
Otherwise.
He may not be a good pass blocker, but that doesn't mean he's not talented. There's a difference. And that's also not on him to learn that. That's on his coaches to teach.
No, that is on you to learn that. You're an NFL running back.
So hold on. If a student fails a test, is it only his fault if the teacher doesn't teach him properly? No. It's both.
Myles Gaskin should know.
Both on the teacher and the student. But the coach's job is to prepare him for the.
You can only do so much as a coach,
right? But I don't know that
the players got to execute, and the players got to. I mean, he's just not good. He's just not a good pass blocker.
John.
And whose fault would that be that he's in the game?
Well, I mean, who else do they have? They don't have anybody else.
And whose job is
free agent running back?
Sure. Whose job is
the
to
GM?
Secure players that, and so there you go. It all comes back to the front office.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff. The coaching staff deserves responsibility because if the coaching staff doesn't think he's good enough, why is he on the field? It's as simple as that.
I mean, you don't really have anybody else. Who else do you have?
There's free agent running backs. I'm not saying
that's on the GM.
No. It's on the coaching staff to actually say to the GM, we need a running back.
I don't know what they say behind closed doors. I'm not there.
Well, I'm sure the coach communicates to the GM, hey, we could use some running back help. Could you get a guy in here, please?
I'm sure it's pretty obvious that their running back can't block.
Okay, well, it's still on the coach and the GM to work it out. It's as simple as that.
Maybe, but I've been suffering for a long time, so I'm used to this.
No.
Yeah, I've been suffering.
You haven't been suffering like a Giants fan because offensive line issues are our thing.
Now, you only won 2 Super Bowls, and the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. I thank you.
I'll concede because you know what?
Please.
I enjoy watching you make fun of your own Dolphins. So
no, it's not making fun. It's honesty.
I
haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. So,
listen, you could say what you want about that, but I still think that Coughlin was a horrible coach. He won 2 Super Bowls.
He wasn't a horrible coach. He was a fantastic coach. Look what he did with the Jaguars. Took him to 14-2 in a conference championship.
Horrible.
What do you mean horrible?
Horrible.
Look what he did with an expansion Jaguars franchise.
How many times did they make the playoffs?
Who, the Jaguars?
The Giants.
Jake said had the numbers up.
6 times maybe.
And how many playoff games did they win under the Super Bowls? And then
JB, now you're going to defeat the argument against Eli, so stop it.
No, because it's different. A head coach coaches the whole team. Coughlin was a bad coach. That's all I'm going to say.
No, he was not.
I don't like him.
Like I said, look what he did. You may not like him, but look what he did on the Jaguars. 14-2. They should have been in a Super Bowl. Lost in a conference championship.
The
only reason they didn't go to the Super Bowl was because they played the Ravens in the playoffs that year. Like, you're not going to beat that team.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat the 2000 Ravens. You just aren't. Nobody it was. Right. Nobody.
Well, eventually they were. There was
nobody beat them Ravens. The Giants didn't.
Yes, you're right. No, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. No, you're correct. You're correct.
So that's the only reason the Jags didn't get to that Super Bowl is because, you ran into that
incredible it happens.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We don't talk about.
He's not a horrible coach. I mean, he's had a lot of success.
They lost a lot of games they should have won over many years. Believe me, I've watched many of them.
Well, that lands on a lot of people, not just one.
The head coach.
They also had a lot of success under him for a long time.
2 championships. I'm happy.
When you lose games you should win in the NFL, when it's a 16, now 17-game season, I don't have pity for you. I don't respect you. It's your job to win the winnable games.
You know what's ironic about that? Last week you were saying how great Mike Tomlin is as a coach. There are plenty of times where he's lost games he should have won.
But that happens to every coach.
Exactly.
Right?
That's my point. That's my point. So his statement of, I don't have respect for guys that lose games that they should have won. No, it's kind of a defeated argument.
Constantly.
You didn't say constantly. Your words were not constantly, sir. You left out an important word. Constantly is a big difference.
Year after year is all I'm going to say.
Well, now the message has changed.
Well, do not call me John. Don't call me John. You're out of order. You're out of order.
Who knows what that J and JBL stands for? It could be John, Ellis. It could be anything. We don't know. We don't know what that J stands for.
Actually, we do, but I'm just
Jerome.
Yes.
I thought
like
it was
the bus, Jerome.
I thought it was Javonte, like Javonte Williams. There you go.
It was going to be. Maybe next week it'll be Javonte.
Okay.
We can play that every week. Guess the J and JBL.
Guess the J. What did he choose this week? All right. One more thing I want to talk about for sure. Tyrod Taylor. I feel bad for this poor guy at this rate. I mean, I am convinced that wherever he goes, he is destined to get hurt in some way.
He's injury prone.
He is, and he's talented. That's the problem.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I'm
not saying he's the best quarterback ever,
NFL.
but he's not bad. He's a decent quarterback.
Nathan Peterman started in the NFL, so
good enough to be a starter consistently in the NFL.
I agree. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be the best starter of all time. I'm just saying he could be a decent starter.
It's a poor man's Teddy Bridgewater.
All right. Well,
sometimes being a poor man is okay, but how about Carson Wentz? How's his ankles going?
Double ankle.
Oh, jeez.
I remember way back when that trade happened. There was a voice of reason on the show. That's what I start calling myself, the voice of reason. I think I pointed out how Carson Wentz would do nothing. He would get hurt very quickly. And it would be a weird injury. First, he had the broken foot that nobody ever diagnosed. Now he's got not one sprained ankle, but two.
How does somebody sprain both ankles?
The only way I can think is if you step in like 2 ditches at once, you sprain both ankles. Or if you're playing against like Derrick Rose from when he was on the Bulls and he like crosses you over and he breaks your ankles or sprains your ankles, I guess in this case. That's the only way I can think of that. But other than that, I'm really not trying to do it both.
Listen, all I'm going to say is Carson Wentz is another guy that's cursed. His body just does not believe in playing football.
I'm going to throw this out there, JB. I think Carson Wentz, he's Glass Joe. He's AD, but for football. I think that's a fair comparison.
Is Carson Wentz a bust?
The difference between him and Tyrod has weird injuries. The punctured lung, that was
not funny, but it really it's just
it is. It's hilarious, man. This is wild.
In a sick sort of way,
It's almost comical at this point. The weird him and Carson Wentz, the weirdest things that happens. Like you poke them in the eye, and they're out for 5 weeks or something strange. It's It's always something goofy.
It's just the poor guy has gotten injured everywhere, and every time he's got a golden opportunity to start, kind of like he does in Houston, right? It's clear he is the guy right now.
Yeah, it's a golden opportunity.
No, I mean a golden opportunity to be the starter.
Listen,
clearly
John,
he's number one. Deshaun Watson's not going to take over. Davis Mills is the very clear rookie backup. It doesn't matter, right? He is the clear starter. Golden opportunity to start. Not saying to win, just to be the starting quarterback somewhere. And he gets hurt again. I am convinced that Davis Mills is going to have to just be some great quarterback. He's going to be like the next Justin Herbert, only because every time Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, somebody great comes in eventually. Look at his history. Josh Allen came in. Justin Herbert.
Remember when Ryan Fitzpatrick replaced him? Yeah, it's great.
I'm talking
Didn't
about
Baker Mayfield replace him in Cleveland? Yeah, that's great.
A good thing.
That's great.
So yeah, you added a quarterback to my list. The point I'm making is I'm not saying it's every injury. I'm saying when he ends up getting seriously injured and leaves the team, the guy that takes his place almost always is great.
But you know what I'm thinking? If I'm a GM, I'm bringing Tyrod Taylor in just so I can find my next great quarterback.
Right. If I'm the Giants, I'm bringing in Tyrod Taylor to find out who our next great quarterback is.
That SpongeBob reference by John Misick was just fantastic.
That is very good. Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We know that you don't know what SpongeBob is, JB.
I was just going to say, JB may know what SpongeBob is. He may have heard of
it's
it.
It's not Green Acres it's not.
I do know how to mute
It's not the Adams Family.
It's okay.
It's not like. It's not
the
Beverly Hillbillies, like those old shows.
The reference goes past him because he's too old to understand. He may know what it is.
He's gonna kill us.
But it goes over his head as he was. So.
Have you ever seen SpongeBob?
Who hasn't seen SpongeBob? Wow.
I think if I had to describe what JB is,
next week.
In the SpongeBob character,
we're going to go back into my era next week.
JB, do you like chocolate? Do you like chocolate?
No, chocolate's the worst.
Oh, we'll see. It
Who doesn't
really
like
works
chocolate?
Then. But then it really works. Because this is who you are. This is JB in SpongeBob character. And you remember, if anybody that knows this scene and knows this character, you know that they remember when they first started selling chocolate. So JB
this has been the most JB's ever been roasted in his life.
This episode shall be titled "The Roast."
Usually,
of
it's
Ellis.
Me.
The roast of JB.
I'm loving
Ellis.
it. You guys are killing. If all you got is the age, I mean, obviously I'm the best looking one.
You know what? JB, it works.
If all you got is age.
So we got with you age, me, young, beautiful.
You don't even know what 9/11. You don't even know what 9/11 is. You weren't even born.
Not true. Excuse you. I was.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
So it's pretty simple. JB is the old man, the resident old man. I'm the resident young guy. I bring the energy to life, and John's the crazy guy.
Remember Y2K?
No.
Oh, you don't.
I wasn't even born yet.
So
I was born in 2K, but not before it.
So basically, what it was is they changed the alphabet.
Yes, I know what. I know what it was. I'm just saying I wasn't born for it.
Everybody thought the world was going to end. I remember that.
It was computers. They thought like computers because of the internal systems on computers.
What it was people that were in the computer industry found a way to make a lot of money off everyone else who was a sucker.
Yeah,
that's really what it was.
It worked.
It's like selling
chocolate.
It's like selling 100 handbags to people that are trying to sell you chocolate. And then they buy the handbags instead of you selling the chocolate.
Exactly. All right. Anything else we got to talk about, guys?
Nope. NBA. That's all I got tonight.
NBA?
JJ Redick retired today. 15 years in the NBA. Number 11 pick. One of my favorite NBA players.
Obviously, I don't think anybody here is going to sit here and say he was a Hall of Famer, but
no,
a great player in his era. Not the best, not the top tier, just in his time.
He played for Duke. He played for Duke, so I have no respect for him.
JJ Redick was different, though. He had personality. He actually was the one that got me into podcasting. I recommend you listen to his podcast. If you don't like Kyrie Irving, Listen to the episode he had Kyrie Irving on.
I really don't.
Listen to the episode he had Kyrie Irving on. You'll like Kyrie Irving after it. It was actually a really great episode. But right. JJ has a phenomenal podcast.
I'll probably not take you up on that offer.
You should listen. You may learn something. So he's got Ben Simmons today. As reported, he's not going to camp. He will no longer play for that organization. If you know what organization it is, let me know. Nobody? Crickets? Wow. Because nobody really cares because they're not going anywhere anyway. Because Ben can't shoot a free throw.
I thought you were asking like where he's gonna go and trade, trade wise.
No, who he plays for.
Oh, okay. Well, Ben Simmons plays for the Sixers.
Yeah, but they weren't winning anything with Ben Simmons, and they're not going to win anything without him.
I declined to say that.
What apparently, according to Jacob on our network, he thinks the Sixers are winning the title this year. I don't know how.
No, that's not what he said.
He said book it for 2022.
He said Doc Rivers will win a championship. He didn't specify.
Well, Doc Rivers coaches. Yeah.
Well, if he for some reason gets fired, picked up in mid-season by somebody else, technically he could still be right.
Well, he said Sixers 2022 champs.
Look, I'm just saying Doc Rivers was his answer.
Isn't Rivers the coach for the Sixers?
For now.
Yeah.
But he very clearly said Doc Rivers. Because he meant that Doc Rivers isn't necessarily guaranteed to win with the Sixers. It just means he will win this year.
I don't know how he gets that logic. I have no idea where that comes from. I look at that roster, and it's not even close to a championship roster.
No, they're horrible. The Nets are in talks with Harden and Irving to extend them. So listen to that podcast, learn about Kyrie, because he's going to be in my city, Brooklyn, for years to come.
Yeah.
Winning championships with KD.
One last thing for me, I actually almost forgot about this. Minnesota Wild young star Kirill Kaprizov signed a deal today, actually. 5 years, $45 million to stay with the Wild. And that's important only because there were actually rumors that he may leave the Wild and go play internationally. But it seems like he's sticking around, and the NHL is better for it. I think they need all the young stars they can get. I mean, you got guys like him, got to keep them.
Yep.
Baseball pennant race is heating up. The Yankees a half game back of Toronto going into tonight.
I'm sorry, they don't deserve it.
The Red Sox up 2 games on Toronto right now for the first spot. National League East is a mess. The Giants and Dodgers are fighting each other. Second-rate city still in first place. I don't get it. I don't understand. Second-rate city with a second-rate team.
It's terrible.
That's it. That dude outside the stadium, he made me feel that way. How
did you get in this bathroom?
I was an apathetic San Francisco person. I could care less if they won or they didn't win. Now I will.
Now you want nothing for them to lose.
Now I'm going LA, going hard.
Right.
Let's go Dodgers.
Fair enough.
All
right.
John doesn't care about baseball because he's an Oreo fan.
Yeah, really.
Hey, I write about baseball for Fox Sports, so I
do
care about.
We know.
So what's going on in the MLB? Tell us some of the stuff you've written about, Sean.
Oh, I write recaps for the Orioles games. Sometimes the previews, but mostly the recaps of their games.
Boring stuff, really. I mean,
thank you. Appreciate that.
You
it's only my work.
You know you write good stuff and I'm messing with you, but the Orioles are boring. I mean, they suck.
They're not boring. I mean, Ryan
Mountcastle. There's some good young guys.
Ryan Mountcastle just broke the Orioles rookie record
I got to mess with John
for home runs in a season.
There's so many ways to mess with John. Why are you going to mess with him about something that's actually legit?
And Cedric Mullins is about to become the first Oriole ever to hit 30 home runs and steal 30 bases in a season.
That's nice.
So that's pretty impressive because you don't see that anymore. You don't see 30 stolen bases.
Guys don't steal bases. It's pretty sad.
Yeah,
I agree.
So that's why I brought that up because I love the stolen base and bunting and all that nonsense. I love all that, but it's a little start.
Yeah. All right.
So just some stuff outside of our show. First NFL carousel was last week. I got to cover the Dallas Cowboys in the reverse week.
JB, let the fans hear it. Come on.
How about them boys?
Oh, that was not right. You know it's got to be Cowboys. You don't say how about that.
Look, he's wearing an alternate. He's wearing the alternate jersey.
Just for us. Come on. Come on for the fans.
Can't do it.
It'll be on record forever. Well,
exactly.
Everybody will hear it forever.
It'll be my new ringtone.
That's why you get the boys, not them, not the other thing. No.
You got to subscribe to his Patreon if you want that.
Exactly. It's going to cost you $1,000 per month for that.
Wow, that's steep.
NBA Carousel comes back October 18th, first episode.
Can't wait.
The program should be up and running in just a couple of weeks. Jake is getting ready for this announcement we got coming up soon. Jon, I don't know what John's doing. He's writing for like 3 different places. He's all over the place. I can't keep track.
Yeah.
Oh, Debbie says to do it. Come on.
Negative. Not happening.
You were going to be in trouble.
That'd be like Debbie saying, "Go Pack, go." I just don't see it.
That would not happen.
Exactly.
I don't see it happening. But anyway, anything else in the world of sports?
I was going to say, anything else, guys? I don't think
No, I'm ready for the end of this show.
Jon, why are you so excited?
Because I get to talk about me. Why wouldn't I be excited to talk about myself?
All right, Jon, where can they find you?
You can find me Fox Sports 1340, Cardiac Kane on Fansided, Fin Fanatic on Fansided, Sports Arena Monday and Wednesday nights at 10 Eastern Time, NFL Carousel Thursday nights 7 to 8. You can find us on there. And then, of course, Sideline Sports. We have a lot of important news coming up, so you really, really want to keep up to date with us. Make sure you tune in to next week's show. This face.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get away with that. I was hovering over the mute button, waiting for it. I knew he wasn't going to get it.
These faces are...
Nope, I'm not letting him go. JB, you're
These you 3 faces, there's 3 faces here. You see all of us.
And I'm going to go. So you guys can find
all
me.
3 of us are important because it's going to be important that you recognize these faces.
Okay. All right, Jon. All right, shush. You guys can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up Jake Malik. Specifically, Twitter is Jake_Malik. More importantly, you can find me here on Sideline Sports. Jon, stop with the fake injury. I don't want to hear about it. You guys can find me here, Sideline Sports, 8:30 Eastern every Tuesday night. More importantly, you can find Sideline Sports everywhere you have social media. So Instagram and Twitter is at SidelineSport1. As you see, it scrolls across the bottom now. YouTube is Facebook, Sideline Sports, TikTok. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Basically, everywhere you find podcasts or any of that stuff, we are there. Just look us up. You'll find us. JB.
So next week, we're going to come to you live from the Greenwich Boys and Girls Club for the announcement. So just so you guys know, if you look into that, you get a little...
Are you going to be there?
The decision.
That's where you'll be?
I didn't want to use the word yet, Jon. I was teasing it. I don't want to give more information. But don't give no more.
Like LeBron. Oh, by the way, Jake and I play this week in the fan league, so...
And you will be getting decimated,
it's going down.
You will be getting decimated. JB, where can they find you? Back to that.
JB Ellis at the program.club. The NFL Carousel covering the Chargers now. Forget about those other guys from Dallas. The NBA Carousel will come back October 18th. Twitter, JB_the program. Here, there, a little bit of everywhere. Sporting events, who knows where else I'm going to show up. But just remember, if we're playing cornhole, Jake and Jon will lose it to me all day.
Yeah.
By the way, week 3, I play Matt in our Sideline Sports League. Week 4, I play JB. And then week 6, I play Jake. So these are 3 important weeks. I play Bryce week 5, which is an easy
Can we get the poll on Twitter? Is 45 minutes right off the highway?
It is absolutely not.
I agree, but
all right.
To some people it is.
Everybody have a good week. We'll see you guys next week. And remember,
most important place with most important face.
Jutta.
Gotcha.
I hate you sometimes.